Mr. Stephen Dow, how you doing? Caught you mid lunch. I apologize for that. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing very well, man. Do me a favor, when you get a chance, get the marketing thing out of the way, and I want to get into a possible opportunity to talk about.
Okay. Again, although I work very happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on this channel, that of my own. So let's get another one going.
There you go. So I think there's a lot of folks that were financial engineers, value add. They don't know what they're doing. Maybe they bought some Airbnb properties and it's just not
Oh
working
yeah.
out, and they're
Oh yeah.
they're kind of mid remodel. I'm seeing actually more and more of these over the last couple of weeks, and they are obviously
Right.
distressed sellers.
Right.
So, if if you're an investor and you look at these opportunities and you see meat on the bone, what kind of like if I brought you one of these, what would you want to know?
Well, mainly property ads, just to start off with, just to make sure that it's located in an area that's, somewhat densely populated to
Yeah.
ensure I can find enough sales comps. Otherwise, I can almost tell from the beginning, like if your town has like 250 people, I doubt you're going to have enough comps. That
Okay.
then property type, transaction type, purchase price, or desired loan amount, and then mid FICO score. And then from there, that's pretty much all I need from the beginning.
Okay.
Obviously, also, your experience level. Do you currently own your primary residence as well as other rental property? But outside of that, and then obviously what you want as far as the strategy for the property,
Yeah.
how long you might need the money for, if the property's in distress.
Oh, I like it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that makes sense, right? Because again, because if I can play this out, let's assume it's mid flip, drywall's out, right? It's just like
mhm,
they got. It's not
right,
move-in ready.
right,
So in that case, we're likely going to have to do what is it, the ARV Pro or whatever that is, where
correct.
so talk about that.
Okay, so on the ARV Pro for refinance, the main components are going to be the as is value at that current condition, uh, the remaining rehab budget, and then obviously what the ARV is going to be or after rehab value. Obviously, also what the mid FICO score is, and that should pretty much do it. I would typically
Okay.
have the borrower fill out what's called an SOI template or schedule of improvements. It allows borrower to basically list exactly what they want to do to the property and how much, just so
Right.
we can review the scope of work and see if that's something we want to participate in. Because let's just say it's midstream, but it's still somewhat of a gut job. We're
Yeah.
probably not the right fit at
Yeah.
that time,
Okay.
but more
I
like
like it.
towards the end, the finishing stuff, the commercial, the cosmetic kind of,
Yeah.
finishing touches. So something to that extent. I mean, we can do some, say 500 square foot addition to the property or something like that. I've even seen us do financing for an ADU. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
For to convert legally, I think the garage into an ADU or something like that. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the amount of work compared. Because again, if it seems too expensive, we don't want to put the money in danger because it's only a 12-month loan.
No, I like it. I like it. Now
Hmm.
let's assume it's a move-in condition. It's ready to rock and roll. It's
Right.
a it's a busted short-term rental, busted Airbnb or VRBO.
Hmm.
Maybe the
Hmm.
city came in and said, "Hey, you can't do that anymore."
Right.
Um, the seller's letting it go, but I'm going to buy it as a well, let's first off say I'm going to buy it as a personal residence. You don't play there.
Sure. I don't play that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not your
that
thing.
would be Matt the Morris guy.
Yeah, go to Matt the mortgage guy. I just wanted to clear
Shout
that
out
up.
to Matt.
Cool. There you
Yes.
go. Shout out to Matt. But if I want to buy it and make it a long-term rental,
Hmm.
what are some
Totally.
things, come to you for?
I mean, max 75% LTV if you're a
Okay.
seasoned investor, meaning you own one rental property one day, is
Mhm.
seasoned in under our eyes or definition. And then outside of that, it's again 75% LTV up to a 90% CLTV in that case, still.
Yeah.
But otherwise, as far as qualifying, asset based is how my management likes me to put it. So no personal income documentation as far as tax returns, pay stubs, W-2s, no asset depletion where, with some of these other alternative programs with bank statement programs where they're collecting 12 to 24 months of statements. And then they average their deposits over those 12 or 24 months to kind of use that as some sort of a measurement of income. And then, of course, DSCR programs as well, that you could still use. But when all else fails, because a lot of times those, short-term rentals aren't debt servicing, that's why you would want to come to me because I don't care about any of that. So
Yeah.
minimum 650 FICO is all you need, and that's pretty much it. And the value to come in, obviously, to support your desired loan terms, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I loved how you went through that because again, you have one product that might, if you want to come in, just get a velocity first, 75% LTV, get 25% down. But again, you
Hmm.
keep hitting that 90% CLTV because it
Hmm.
is that valuable, right? Think about a busted
Yeah.
Airbnb. They lost a bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. You can
Hmm.
come in and say, hey, we'll give you 60% now, pay off the existing first, but we
Right.
can't get you your, 30%
Right.
for, I don't know, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Right? It's the
Sure.
beauty of this Swiss Army knife is you can tailor it so that the seller feels like they're winning and
Yep.
you as the buyer are doing a deal where frankly you get below
The number.
market interest rates. It's
Yep.
amazing.
No, it is. And that's where the people that have been able to kind of, find the right situation by doing the work, find the right motivated seller, and then just crunching the numbers because numbers don't lie. And that's where usually with a more meaningful conversation, that I have to have a lot of times, we usually kind of go through the gauntlet and then finally, yes, this is something that's doable or viable. And then we get the ball rolling. But yeah, this is definitely possible. It just takes a longer kind of process in a sense of more communication, details as far as being able to communicate that to the decision makers on the seller side, because that's usually the sticking point. Buyers are already, ready to do this, and they usually have somewhat of an idea of the product and the effectiveness. But the sellers and or the listing agent might be the ones to convince to be able to relate to their client and or the decision maker. So I think that's usually the biggest sticking point. But other than that, yeah, there's so much. Yeah, the that particular feature has been very valuable in multiple situations for me this last month. So it's been yeah, very useful to say the least.
Folks, if you're part of the one rental at a time family, you're in the course or you follow this stuff, you're building a spreadsheet, you're running your numbers, you know what the yield is. I promise you, if you understand how to calculate the blended interest rate or use this 90% CLTV, you can pay a little more
Hmm.
and get a higher yield. Yes, you can pay a little more and get a
Uh-huh.
higher yield because the seller is taking a second back at a below market interest rate. It's
Right.
magic. They
It is.
win, you win. Stephen, if somebody wanted to reach out and go deep on this, how do they do that?
Again, email to SDAO at velocity, the word mortgage spelled out.com. In the subject line, please put the acronym ORAAT to make it past the firewall. The excuse me, in the body of the email, just a brief description what you're looking for. Address would be really helpful, or at least city and state to make sure I lend there. Your mid FICO score and the best phone number to reach you at. And typically 24, 40 hours, I'll be in touch.
Folks, learn the Swiss Army knife, learn how it could improve your yield by paying a little bit more. Stephen, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, brother.